Welcome back, friends. I was just looking over this new album. As I was looking at it, it says here Jamie Brewster vocals, Jamie Brewster album design and artwork. I open it up and there's Jamie Brewster in it. You know what? I am going to call up this guy and tell him exactly what I think of him, putting his face and his name everywhere. Jamie, are you there?
Hello, hello,
Hello,
who's
Jamie.
speaking?
This is a
Oh,
concerned fan. And I just wanted to tell
oh,
you, Jamie, what I thought of you. You're a really cool guy and very knowledgeable about the Beach Boys, and I'm very happy to be your friend.
oh. Well, Alex, it is Alex, isn't it? I can tell it is
Oh,
because I know you. I've only got one fan in America, so it can only be so. It's great
I
to have a
forgot
fan.
that part.
I really don't care where you're from, but thank you very much, my friend. Great.
Hey, no problem. So, Jamie, I think we can hang up our phones
Can okay.
and we can just talk on Zoom. So, Jamie,
Let's.
very Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you, and to you, Alex. So I was going to say Happy Thanksgiving because you do Thanksgiving and Christmas, don't you?
That's true. I do both of them. And so Thanksgiving is past and Christmas is yet to come, but I figure this can be a little Christmas present for our viewers, both in our native countries and also our fans abroad, too.
Yeah, I hope they enjoy it. Really, that's going to be one of the best Christmas presents you could ever have.
There you
To be
go.
honest.
Heard it from the man himself. So, of course, the album I was holding up at the beginning there. Jamie, we can kick off with this, then we'll get into talking about Beach Boys live things today. But Jamie, tell us about Yanni Martinelli's Polaris. You were kind enough to send me a copy. Anything you'd like our fans and watchers to know?
Yani is a. She's been described as a melodic and genius, and a genius in harmony as well. And when I met her first, I found her music on YouTube, and I contacted her for some albums. And she wrote to me in Madrid. We exchanged emails, and we were then talking a lot. I loved her music. I found it so relaxing, very, very spiritual with a lot of West Coast USA in there from female and male artists both. Love Brian Wilson. Beach Boys was her number one. So we hit it off like, and I went to Madrid. We started, I said it'd be great if we could sing together. She said, cool. And so I came over to Madrid. We started singing together and an album started to form. And we just went on a creative explosion, really.
Perfect.
Not without a few hiccups on its way with illnesses and things, but we've come up with an album that we got on one show in the US, which we were in his top 20 of last year's albums, and a show in the UK we're number 13 of his albums. We're also in international shindig. We got a 4-star review in here,
Hey.
and Alex, the way Yanni constructs harmonies is amazing, and she can play multi. She's multi instrumentalist, piano, guitar, quattro, drums. So all the drumming on the album's hers. All the piano, vast majority of all the guitars, bass guitar, percussion, and I learned so much. It was a privilege for me.
Hey, very good. So, and I was very impressed with the copy you sent me. And I think if you're a big fan of the Beach Boys' Friends or Smiley Smile, this album to me played almost like a combination between
Thank
those
you,
two. That
thank you very.
I think you'll really enjoy this. Now, a lot of other Beach Boys fans like Giggins, they've talked about it and
Yes,
reviewed
I
it
know.
and discussed it. And
Yeah,
I was very impressed too.
thanks. Do you have any favorite tracks on there? Is that putting you on the spot a little bit?
I like Nighttime Gecko and I like your Hawaiian one there. Hoku.
Yeah,
Okay, I wasn't sure. My
yeah.
Hawaiian's not very good. I've been there enough
No,
times and
yeah, okay.
still a
Well,
holy.
we sent a copy to Brian before we lost him, and he never got to hear it, which was very very sad. But David Leaf asked us to send two autograph copies, which we did. One to him, one to Brian, and he was going to give it to Brian for a birthday present, and obviously he never got it. Never heard it. So that was very sad. Maybe someone will pick it up over there. I hope they will. Hope they enjoy it.
Yeah, you never know. And it is available in the US, right? If someone wants to
Sure,
purchase it, they can do
absolutely. Worldwide, it's either through Yanni's website, yannimartinelli.com, or if you go on Bandcamp, the app on Bandcamp, you just press on it, Polaris, and it tells you how to order it. No problem at all.
Perfect.
And
That's good.
download as well. But with all that fantastic artwork, you got to have
Yeah.
a.
Yeah. I would say it's very distinctive looking, really stands out, but yet it's not, so aggressively in your face that it's a turn off either. It's very, very nicely done.
Thank you very much.
Hey, no problem. So, all right, we want to make sure we covered Polaris today, and then Jamie and I were talking about other things to cover. You might remember a while ago, after Brian's passing, he and I did a three-part series. We covered every Brian Wilson album, did mini reviews of each one, talked about our favorites and our experiences seeing him in concert, things like that. It was so much fun to do. A lot of great feedback. All three of those videos are on both my channel and Jamie's. They are the same videos. Some of our fans are a bit confused. So if you watch them on one, you don't have to watch them on the other. But Jamie and I thought of other things we could discuss, and I noticed sort of shortly after Brian's passing, a CD was announced in England. It was this a kind of a collection of radio recordings, all
Okay.
different live
Yeah.
performances, songs
Yeah.
from the 60s, 70s, and very, very early 80s. And Jamie and I got to discussing live things. We thought, you know what? Let's talk the Beach Boys live. We decided to kind of, again, break it up a little bit because Beach Boys live could be 6 videos. So we're
At
going to
least.
cover 60s through the 80s. What do you say, Jamie? What do you
I
think?
think that's great. I haven't got that actually, Alex. I should try and get it because getting Beach Boys stuff out here is a little bit slow sometimes. I don't know why. I mean, there's plenty of fans here, but it seems to be sort of takes ages to get things.
Right.
But that is on my wish list. So talk me through it, please, and then we can
I,
discuss it.
I did not think I could get it for the longest time because, of course, shipping to and from the US is complicated right now. But I found a seller in England through Amazon, Amazon US too, that was more than willing to send me one. Got here
Okay.
no trouble. So this has four different concerts, a couple of which I was familiar with.
Hmm.
Their Japan show from 1966. If you're a fan
Okay.
of Pet Sounds, the pictures in the back of Pet Sounds of them in
Yeah.
Japanese, traditional Japanese garments, that was around the time of this show. And it also had another one I was very familiar with, their much maligned Independence Day Party 1981. So
Oh,
Carl's
right.
not there, but Brian is. So
Yeah. I now that one was that a bit controversial. That one. I haven't got that at all. In
it
fact.
was, again, and both of these, I should say, are kind of gray area CDs. They're not officially licensed, but they're not necessarily bootlegs either. And that goes for
Okay.
well. But yeah, I mean, this one, they're not in top form, really. There are definitely some good parts to it, but there are things that kind of fumble, and they do a lot of like medleys, shorter surf songs, shorter car songs paired together, and some of those transitions are kind of rough. But they do back in the USSR, which is pretty cool.
Did Brian perform on that?
Yes, he performs,
In,
I think, God Only Knows and Surfer Girl and a couple other things. I think Carl was doing his solo stuff at the time. I think
Yeah,
he was
so
Brian.
Carl left, didn't he? Carl left, and Brian filled in for him. Not too well at times, I don't think, from what I
Yeah,
hear.
very uneven performance by Brian, but
Yeah,
he was still kind of, I think, getting back in the swing
getting
of
back,
touring
of
and that. Yeah.
course, it was for sure. And I think when we go back to the early '60s, with the '64 album, which we've all got, of course. I think I got it there. Um, they were great, and people said, "Oh, Beach Boys when they're in concert, they don't play their own instruments." I said, what? Of course they do. There was no one else. It's
Put
just
on the
them.
package.
Look at it. And very short shows. Maybe 40 minutes.
Yep.
Show done. Lots of screaming fans. Dennis was mobbed a lot, and they all played and sang great.
They
Yeah,
did. And now, the thing about concert isn't well liked today, mostly because of all like the studio doctoring and stuff behind the scenes. They use studio elements from Fun, 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 and I Get Around It. I Get Around It's especially noticeable. On the CD, you can hear the cut from when Mike gets done talking to when the song starts, and it sounds completely different, that kind
yeah,
of thing. But, Jamie, you think for decades, this was the only place you could find Johnny Be Good and The Wanderer and Monster Mash and Little Old Lady from Pasadena. Papa Umau Mau would be on an album following that up. And anything else that was kind of exclusive to this? Graduation Day.
yeah.
So you have to think about if you were a kid in 1964, like seeing this record in the store, all these songs that you've never heard the Beach Boys do before, that definitely would be a big selling point.
Absolutely. And Fred Vale introducing the show and really with Murray sort of he was sort of promoting them, wasn't he? He was the
Mhm.
promoter, Fred. But and they were a much better band with him, getting the gigs and getting the bookings and promoting them and organising the van or the transport or whatever. And I don't, Mary used to say, "Smile, you're not smiling enough. Oh, you
There you go.
smile, smile."
There you go. Yep, that was Murray, though. I mean, hey, he was a
Yeah.
sharp businessman, though.
Oh,
But
for sure. He was
um,
very, yeah, very sharp.
yeah.
Yeah,
And of course,
absolutely.
I have to do my Fred Vale impression now from Hawthorne, California, to entertain you tonight with a gala concert and recording session, the fabulous Beach Boys. There you go, and the fans go wild. So,
That's
but
great.
yeah, Jamie, I don't know if you're super familiar with digital stuff. I always need my props here. I got hands that always have to
Yeah,
move. But of course, in 2014, we got 50 years of concerts. So we got the digital set live in Sacramento, the actual true Sacramento recordings. And we'd seen some of these in other places, the concert live in London CD, of course, the Good Vibrations box set, that kind of stuff. But thoughts on releasing, if you're not too familiar with this set, just in general, thoughts on releasing digital stuff, the unedited concert tapes, that kind of thing. What do you think?
Uh, yeah, I mean, I think there's two ways of looking at it. First, you want to think with new audiences and new fans and people who are that not that familiar. I think you want as good quality as possible for them to not to say, well, why is that? Why isn't Brian singing? Is that Brian Wilson? No, I don't. For hardcore fans, I think it's great. It doesn't matter the quality so much as new fans, and I'm quite happy to just get it as it is. Not to doctor it, not to play with it too much. Just get it out as it was done.
Yeah, exactly. And this is really cool too, because we don't have all that studio
Uh,
editing and stuff. And there were quite a few songs from this album that weren't done at those Sacramento shows. They were pulled from, I know some were pulled from their TV performance for Christmas
sure.
1960. Might be a few other sources too. So this is still interesting. We still have like Johnny B. Good is not done on this set, but yeah, I like getting those actual recordings as well, and I think it makes it a little more authentic.
Anything particularly interesting in that set, Alex?
Trying to think what all. It's nice to have them all compiled in one place because I know, like, I think four recordings were on the Good Vibrations set, and Don't Worry Baby was on the one CD there. And it is nice to have two complete shows you can kind of compare and contrast. I don't think there are too many things that are, maybe not even really anything that's like super unique, like only really available here and not elsewhere. Pretty sure all the songs they did you can find at least on one other release. I don't know. I did a deep dive video on this to follow up my concert deep dive. I really don't remember what I said. I'll have to go back and look at that.
Okay. Well, you're a great diver. I'm sort of a bit of a surface diver with live stuff. And I was playing the Knebworth CD the other day, and it's the first time I've played that for I don't know a long time. Yeah.
There you go. I brought up the DVD instead. But Jamie, of course, you were actually there at Knebworth, right?
Yeah, look at that. In fact, I've got a concert brochure. I've got a program, but I cannot find it for the life of me. And I've mislaid it, moving from
Oh,
me to Spain. So I've got the blooming program with and the photos of the band members and yeah, and I guess we've jumped a bit from 60s to 80, but it was a great concert. And when I listened to the CD and compare it to what I remember of the show and see some of the studio some of the film footage, I think it's pretty true. It's pretty true, and I remember a great big hand going up on the stage, an inflatable hand, a big white. I think it was probably saying hi. This
oh.
white hand came up, and it was they were Beach Boys were at the end, so we'd had Elkie Brooks and Mike Oldfield and Santana. I think we heard some of it, but we were there for the boys, and it was starting to rain, and it was a cold June evening, and I think it was Bruce said we're here to warm you up with some California music or something like that.
I
And
know.
Dennis was saying, "We love you, England," and you felt it, you felt the love.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
we'll get back to live in London here too and talk more about their English tours. But I
yeah,
wanted to ask
sure.
you a question, Jamie, because we actually tie this back into this set too. We'll stick on the 80s for a second. What are
Okay.
your thoughts on the studio album Keepin the Summer Alive? No one really talks about this one much.
No, and they did a few of the songs from '80 when they taught they did some concerts at Wembley a couple of nights before they did Knebworth. So the ticket sales weren't as big as they'd hoped. But off that album, I've actually got. I don't know if you can see that, Alice. Can you? There's the interviews with Roger Scott from
Oh,
Capital Radio talks to Brian, Mike Love, and Bruce Johnston, featuring "Keeping the Summer Alive." So that's a vinyl interview, and you can get it on YouTube. You can find it on YouTube. That's quite scarce now, and that was for promotion only. But the interesting thing that comes out on the interview is that all the guys seemed very enthusiastic. Brian was happy. They'd been to Hawaii to do some recording. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was Hawaii. They went over and he wrote 4 or 5 songs, and they sounded really upbeat with it. But Bruce didn't seem so upbeat because he said, "I'm exhausted," because he produced the album, didn't he?
right, right.
So he was exhausted, and he said, "I don't even know whether it's a good album or not anymore."
And that's the thing, reading about the production of it, Brian was originally in charge, wanted to do like classic rock covers and stuff, and then Carl took over, and then Bruce took over, but Bruce wasn't
Yeah,
really in charge because the others could outvote him. It just seems like chaos, and that's why we have, I think, such a fragmented album.
I think it's fragmented with a couple, 2 or 3 gems on there, but otherwise a bit fragmented and when girls get together, I can vote that as one of my worst ever Beach Boys song. I just don't like that at all. I just
It
cannot
doesn't
get
fit
like,
either. Like,
no, it doesn't. And I think it was probably from a song that Brian had written few years before, I
Yeah.
think.
It was
Uh,
part of, I think, Sunflower at one point. It
yeah,
was it
yeah,
was over a decade old. I know that,
decade old,
but
yeah. And
yeah.
I don't know
So
why they could have found something else to put on it, but it was, and I don't think Dennis contributed very much to it actually.
no, I think he's only on maybe one, maybe two recordings. I think he played
Yeah,
on School Day, and that was about it. Still on the sleeve though, which is
yeah,
a good picture. I have their Christmas ornament, and it's this same design, so I do like
yeah,
that. But
yeah, for
I
sure.
mentioned. Oops, sorry, Jamie, go ahead.
No, I when it came out and when we went to Knebworth, I said, "Let play some more from Keeping the Summer Alive," because I loved it when it came out. It's
Yeah.
like something new from the band is like, "Oh, it's great," and then after a while you think, "Well, yeah, it's good, but it's not great." A bit like MIU. MIU. I was so glad to get MIU, and I enjoyed a lot of the songs, but I don't play it that often. I mean, I quite like it. Summer in Paradise, I don't play at all. I know you quite like it, but
It's not that bad, is it? Oh well. But I brought this up, Jamie, because we only have two of the Keepin' the Summer Alive songs that were kept for the Knebworth album and stuff. They kept School Days and, of course, the title song. They
yeah,
removed all the others that were done at Knebworth and probably those Wembley shows and anything else from the time. So on this set that we
right.
started with, I was so happy. From Philadelphia 1980, they have Some of Your Love, they have Living with a Heartache, they
Right.
have let's see, there's another one here. They have, of course, Going On, and of
Oh,
course
well,
Keep the Summer Alive Again. It's so nice to have at least live documents of those. And I
how
wish.
is how did what's going on? How did that come out as a live? Because I've never heard that sung live. How did it come out on that album?
Going On it was kind of rough, and I could see that being a hard song to do live,
Oh,
you know.
very good.
Living with a
Really,
Heartache, I was very impressed with. I kind of wish the group had done more with that, like a true country song. I think they did pretty well. Some of Your
yeah.
Love is weird. I don't really know what to say about that one. That one, even on the album, I'm not exactly sure. I don't dislike it, but it confuses me. Don't
Same
think
here.
any others. And there's some stuff from LA Light album too, like Shortened Bread, and they have Roller Skating Child from Love You, that kind of thing. So definitely some cool,
Excellent, excellent.
cool
And
things.
a lot of those songs were until Al has been doing recently the Love You, really promoting the album live. They really did very little from Love You ever
Yeah.
at all.
It
Roller
never
skating, no.
generated any big live staples or anything. It's so weird because Love You has such a great reputation in the Beach Boys community. But if you asked a casual fan, what's the most important song from Love You, it didn't even have a major charting single. You know, like
No,
what do you say? It's a popular album with no popular songs. I don't know.
absolutely,
Different
absolutely.
there.
When I first played that, I thought, yeah, that Brian's got this. It's a bit of a Brian explosion. I was talking to a radio guy the other day, and he was saying, you know, was Brian disappointed? Did we think that he never really managed to top Smile? But you know, Smile was a period of time in his life, and then of course Present Smile came out. But in the meantime, he got lots of gems, lots
Yeah.
of gems.
You know, pieces here and there and all interesting, you know, that kind
Absolutely. Always. There's always something good and interesting on a Beach Boys album. I think Giggins reviewed one of Paul McCartney's albums the other day, and he said it's his. I think he titles Paul McCartney's worst album. Well, I didn't even bother to read it actually. I thought.
of.
Anyway, we're coming off the live stuff, but yeah,
That's okay.
a lot of albums. You know, obviously they did the staple stuff a lot. Um, and today they're doing a few different songs, but not many really. Not many interesting ones for me.
Yeah, I think just Al is doing all the deep cuts and
Yeah.
stuff. And I'd be interesting to see that, but he's not coming anywhere near me. If I can get to Australia next summer, which I'm hoping to do, but might not be possible, hoping to try to catch him there.
Well,
But no.
you never dig yourself out of Tennessee, I don't think, because more snow's
Snow
coming.
everywhere. Theory.
Oh well.
Speaking of the weather, let's go back to that British weather. So, live at Finsbury Park, Astoria. This is the
Okay.
American cover. I see
Wow.
you have in the back the original cover behind you, which I don't have. I have the European reissue and I have the American cover. But Jamie, talk to me. Live in London.
Live in London. Yeah. Well, live in London again. You know, they were fairly short, sharp shows. They tended to speed up the tracks a little bit, I think. So they weren't the true like California Girls would be a little bit quicker to get the audience going. The shows were short, sharp, and quite good. I think they were good. They had the '68 the London tour, and one part of that tour was where they were going to do they did some charity shows in England. I don't know if you knew that. One of them was at a nursing home in Leeds, and the band turned up, and it was a UK DJ was hosting it, and half the instruments hadn't arrived. I think they got a couple of acoustic guitars. Dennis had got some drumsticks, and he played them on a packing case or a suitcase or something like that. And they were playing. And there's a little clip on the Wouldn't It Be Nice documentary of them playing at that nursing home. Just about a 5 second clip.
Huh.
Yeah, and they did have microphones. They did have mics, but there was when you look at the audience, they look like poor old souls. You know, they said, "Who are these people? Are they pop stars?" You know, but that was part of the tour. And but in Britain, you know, when in '68, you know, in the USA, I guess they were a little bit.
Mhm.
They were on top of the tree in the UK.
Exactly. And yeah, I mean, it made sense. They did a huge European tour. They were in Germany and
Yeah,
Belgium and the Netherlands and all over the place.
yeah.
And the charts, their songs are still
Oh,
topping or near top in the charts. In the US, they couldn't get anything.
no, do it
And
again. Number one, you
yep.
know, and Bluebirds Over the Mountain, and then Breakaway came out. They were all big hits in the UK,
Yep.
always.
And Do It Again was a decent hit in the US, but nothing else. Breakaway didn't catch on, Bluebirds didn't catch on. And it's
No,
interesting because I have the ginormous digital set. I guess if you're ever locked in a room with just your music device, you can put this on until someone rescues you. Because when I was in Europe, I was actually writing my notes for this, and it took
wow,
almost my whole trip to do. But
wow.
in this one, in the US shows, which is the bulk of the set, but not the whole thing, you can
Sure.
tell the Beach Boys hate Friends. Friends did not catch on in the US. It bombed. The singles weren't particularly successful, and Mike Love calls it a bomb. They rush through the songs. They play them for laughs. You know, Dennis does jokes during Little Bird and stuff. It's amazing to think Friends, which nowadays Beach Boys fans love, that the group was like, we're gonna forget this album. We're just gonna get it done and bury
Yeah.
it.
It was just such a shame because it's very artistically cool. And, you know, it's Yanni's favourite Beach Boys album. And it's certainly in my top 10 for sure. And very short, but very sweet and
Hmm.
very, very creative. you know.
Very gentle. It's a loving album,
Yeah,
calm.
absolutely,
With the
absolutely.
exception of the last song, but everything else is very calm.
Yeah, and I like that. A lot of people don't like that, but I like the
Yeah.
transcendental meditation, isn't it? And I like that. It's just something it doesn't hurt me listening to that at all. I like it, and I
No.
like the instrumental, the backing track, and yeah, and the saxes and everything. Anyway,
But
but I prefer that cover anyway. I like that cover.
I
I
do
mean,
too, except it was recorded in 68, not 69, and it was not done at the London Palladium. You can find the London Palladium shows here, but I know for years people assumed that Live in London had been done there, and it wasn't. It was at what was Finsbury Park or about 1,000 other names, and now it's a mega church compound thing. I have a picture of me standing in front of it
yeah,
in my YouTube video.
it's a funny cult place or something, isn't it? I know
Yeah,
it's not.
something like that. They've been in trouble
It's
for human
a bit
trafficking
weird.
or some such
Oh
thing.
no.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
It's yeah, I read a little bit and that was enough. But
Remember when you did it? Yeah, that was. And so, I mean, all the research you did over the venues actually was a very interesting project, I think, for you, wasn't it?
no, I enjoyed it. Yeah, it was one of the main reasons I went.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, and I mean, we've been, the best one of the best gigs I ever went to was the '75 Wembley show. '75 Wembley, without Brian, but everyone else was there, plus Ed Carter and all the other guys. What a show that was! And someone said about that show, "Oh, do we have to sit through the Beach Boys? I just want to hear Elton John because Elton was number one. He was the
Yeah.
top of the tree for the concert. And once the Beach Boys just blew everybody into the weeds, and they were doing bits from Surfs Up and Holland, and it was great. And Dennis was on fire. They were all on fire. It was brilliant, actually. They were on a really in a really good place at that point, and then it changed a bit. But hey,
Mid 70s stuff. So we have two things here. First of all, I guess I should say, since you mentioned Elton John, as Dennis would have said, Elton John, eat your heart out.
yeah, when he gets to the piano,
Yep,
yeah,
there you go.
playing, like when Dennis was doing this, wasn't he? He actually played very well, Dennis.
Oh yeah, I believe it. They were all three Wilsons very good. All
Oh,
were
yeah,
very gifted musicians, of course, multiple instruments too. But we have two live 70s documents. We have kind of the non-organic pieced together one, like the best takes from different shows, which is of course in concert. And then we
yeah.
have the one that's just, kind of playing the tape. I brought the vinyl up because the Carnegie Hall show is the centerpiece of the vinyl set. We have Sail on Sailors live at Carnegie Hall, which is the uncut, one show recorded straight through. Mike Love's Temper Tantrum is recorded. All the
Oh
banter's
my
recorded.
goodness! He says, "Why didn't you just shut that
Yep.
up?"
And at the end later, when he talks about transcendental meditation and calmness, he's like, I'm very calm. Don't tell me I'm not calm because I'm very calm. And it's like, you're really selling that, Michael. That meditation's really working out for you. Very good.
Fantastic! That if nobody else enjoys anything else about the video, they should enjoy that and
Yeah.
go and look up the album and play the clip. For sure. But
Oh,
yeah,
man.
again, with Ricky Fattar and Blondie Chaplin, they added some real meat to the performances, didn't they?
Absolutely. Stuff like Jumpin' Jack Flash, man, that place was probably shaken. They probably almost brought the building down on that. But and I
Incredible.
got to say too, I like The Flame, the music I've heard from Ricky and Blondie's original band. I'm very impressed, and they even do a little bit here with "Don't Worry, Bill," which they mix
Don't
with
worry, Bill.
Wonderful.
I like that. I like Don't Worry, Bill. That's really quite different. And Ricky's drumming was good, and Blondie's vocals. They've stood the test of time because when he sang on Brian's solo album, and when he sang with the boys, or Brian's band, and Wild Honey. Look at him singing Wild Honey. Yeah,
Yeah.
and another great album that I need to get hold of. Yeah.
Both of them on there. And yeah, I gotta say, I love the 1970s albums too because they're very diverse. They did a little bit of everything from
Yeah.
Surfing USA all the way up to the new stuff from Holland,
Yes,
you
they
know?
did. They did
So,
little bits of Wild Honey.
yep.
I don't think they did any Friends tracks. Surprise, surprise. I didn't.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
No.
Which for
No.
the time, I guess, with if that was their attitude on Friends a couple of years before, that would take a while to change, I'm sure.
And it's interesting, Alex, isn't it, that Brian has always said that Friends was one of his favourite albums that they did, if not his favourite in a
Yeah.
way, in terms of a, and yet the band made fun of it in a way.
And
That's
it didn't catch on. It didn't resonate at the time, with audiences. It does now. But in the
yeah,
60s it wasn't what anybody wanted, I guess. And it's fun too because on this set they also hate their early songs. They combine Surfin' Safari and Surfin' USA, a Shutdown into one quick medley. And here they speed through it. Like they do it faster than Little Deuce Coupe could even go. Like
yeah,
it's done. But here in the 70s, they started at least bringing those oldies back. We
they
see
did.
things
And no, there weren't
WATB.
medleys. I don't think they did any medleys
Nope.
at shows at all. And they played them properly and played them well and didn't rush through them at all. So yeah, I don't know, and I think that Jack Riley had an influence on how they were, their live shows as well as the studio albums. He had quite an influence on, how to perform in front of people, how to perform the songs, you know, and not to mess about. I think he took a little bit of a hand on the group, and it did them good. And he worked well with Brian as well.
Yeah, he
Uh,
did. And like I said, a lot of people don't like Jack Riley very much. I'm sure he was a strange person from everything I've read about him. He definitely was out there with some of his ideas and claiming to be
yeah.
a Pulitzer Prize winning journalist and
Oh yeah.
knows what else and all that stuff. But yeah, he did a lot for the group. And
Sounds like a president I know, but we better not go to politics.
I don't want you to disappear, Jamie.
I would.
When
Yeah.
they'll click on your channel, it'll say deleted.
You deleted, yeah. But I've always liked that album with you because we had a little bit of a time once Holland had been done, and we were all waiting. Oh, what's going to be the next album? And there was the double concert, 74. Then there was there was a little bit of hiatus, and I think the only thing we had was Child of Winter single, which was rushed out on the 23rd of December or something stupid.
Then nobody bought it.
Yeah, yeah. But and I thought well, at least the concert album came out, and then Brian, and then it wasn't anything till 15 Big Ones. I don't think, was there? So
No, not really. I mean, Endless Summer was big in the US, a
oh,
compilation. And,
massive,
and
yeah.
but no, in Europe, I think they had 20 Golden Greats instead a little
20,
bit later. I don't think Endless Summer ever found a footing in Europe, really.
no, 20 Golden Greats was number one album for months. I think,
Yeah.
yeah, 3 months.
Strange to think about, Jamie. They've had a number one live album. They were the first artists ever to have a number one live album and number
Exactly.
one hits packages, but never a number one studio album. So
Yeah, yeah. So that was quite an achievement. I was going to bring that up. Yeah, and I think it deserved it too. I really do. And in the day when you're a young fan, you'd probably play that until you wore it out.
oh
Oh,
yeah.
imagine at the thing, I'm screaming. Oh, there's Brian and Mike, and
Yeah.
sure, the atmosphere came out really good.
Yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely did. And then let's see. Other than that, I can't think of anything unless you at some point, maybe just a couple minutes left, but maybe sometime if you look up the digital sets, you can go
Sure.
back and cover them. But honestly,
Well,
I think in terms of the big live albums and stuff, the physical media stuff, I think we got
yeah.
everything
Let,
that
let
we
me just
said.
let me just have a look around behind and
Yep.
see if there's a list. I don't think so. I think we've covered. I think 60s to 80s, 60 to 80, 64 to 80 anyway is probably and that was a great period. But then of course in the 90s when and Brian started getting back, things started getting a little bit better. But they had a bit of a dull patch for sure, didn't they? But I need to look at some of the digital sets. I will do, Alex. So I'm not a great digital guy because I don't know where to put half of the things. You
Uh,
know, I go like I say, is it on the computer? Is it on where the heck is it? And every time I order something, I've just ordered some stuff from the UK, and I said, "Have you got CDs? Because I really don't want down." Yeah, so the guy sending me his CDs, I think 3 or 4 are coming. He's sending them to Spain, which is great because I like to flip and hold. I mean, look at Polaris, just one example, or any of this stuff. You've got it, haven't you? And digital stuff, I lose it. I don't know where it is. I'll see. Well, do you know where that album is? Oh, it might be on the computer somewhere. That's no good for
yeah.
me.
I've managed to keep track of mine. I always buy on Amazon and upload them right to my computer. And yeah, it's not as much fun as the digital stuff. And very few of these have liner notes, but
Yeah, and
still.
was it the 69, was it the 2020 sessions is still only available on download? Is it that one that's only available, or is it the 68 one? I can't remember. 67 we got the disc, but was there a, I can't remember. One is only available on download, isn't it? I think it's
The
the,
several of the both the 68 ones are only download, the Friends one and the 2021, but you can find pieces on some of the physical sets. But yeah,
yeah.
it's not ideal.
No, and I like reading the liner notes, David Leaf or whoever. They're all little gems. They're like tapestries for me.
Yeah, we're gonna need some more big book packages here, I think.
Hey, yeah, we've got some stuff coming out next year for sure, haven't we?
Hopefully, hopefully Beach Boys Unplugged, hopefully the big box
Oh,
set.
oh man, what do you think of it? Yeah.
So other than the wonky mixing on the bonus tracks, this was a
Oh,
fantastic purchase. The Roxy show itself sounds amazing. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
All
I've
right.
just got the old CD. I'll get it. I will get it. It'll come to Spain eventually via Timbuktu, I think.
Well, provided the Timbuktu mail service holds out. Hey, Jamie, we're
Yeah.
almost out of time, so have yourself a merry little Christmas. Hop on the little Saint Nick, and see
And
where you
you,
end
Alex.
up.
Run, run, reindeer.
There we
Yeah.
go. You don't miss no one.